because I've been to 2 weddings where you're just sitting there going like, I just don't see this connection at all. I give this, I mean, just because breaking up is hard to do, I give it 18 months maybe, but there's no way they're going through the holidays twice. There's no fucking way. Trying to pick out that card that says all of this shit that you wish you felt but didn't. I mean, there's only so many times you can buy that card. So the 2 weddings that I went to that were like that, one of them ended, I want to say about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. And the other one, they're still together as far as I know. So what the fuck do I know? I do know the one that like dissolved quickly. What was cool is it actually dissolved in a nice way. They were trying to do something, I forget, like around the house, and they were just fighting. They just weren't in sync. And for whatever reason, my buddy just looked at his wife and said, hey, do you want to just not do this? And she was like, what? He was just like this, this doesn't feel right. And she was just like, yeah, I know. That's what it was. And then he goes, do you want to not do this? And she was like, yeah. And then they both laughed. It was one of those things. Usually when there's a breakup, there's one person's just like, this is the greatest relationship ever, right? I've been that person. Then you just get hit with that wet sack of potatoes one day of yeah, listen, I'm not into this at all. Oh, my God. Oh, God, getting dumped. Jesus Christ. And the whole time I bet she hated my laugh. She probably hated the way I slept, When you're with somebody and you're not in love with them, just every fucking thing they do after a while becomes a reason to This is how these fucking idiots, you watch on these fucking shows, they kill their spouses because they don't tell you, teach you how to break up with somebody. How do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? And then they go from the worst thing they did was steal candy bars when they were kids to try to get away with murder one. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Talk about not wanting to have that conversation. You're risking if you are a religious person, going to hell for the rest of your life. Why wouldn't you just stay married and just have that be your hell? Because even then I think God would get mad at you. I gave you a brain. I gave you a mouth. And you just, what did you do with it? Huh? You talked to the wrong person. You married the wrong person. And then you fucking stayed in it. And you had kids with the wrong person, and they could feel the fucking vibe, and now they're all out there all fucked. Now, God cares to that point. He gives a fuck at that level. I've come back around people that I believe in a higher power. All right? I am there, but I am not, nor will I ever. I don't think you could ever convince me that it's a higher power that even remotely gives a shit. When you look at all the fucking horrible things. Take this latest fucking jerk off. Who, by the way, if he just looked at his picture, it's this guy shouldn't own a gun. But he just can walk right in and buy whatever the fuck he wants because he's an American, right? And he goes out and did what he did. Now, here's my thing. God made that person. So how do these religious people sit there, and all of that fucking horse shit about God and the devil? I just love how the devil is somehow the same rank as God. You got 2 choices. The guy who created everything or this fucking guy. And you can actually choose this fucking guy and do something beyond fucking evil. Like what happened in Buffalo, Texas, and now Chicago. Sure, there's a rally going right now. Make it easier. Make it easier to get guns. Which is another thing. I would love to talk to gun owners. For some reason, I keep throwing this out there, and I just never seem to get the fucking emails. I understand that whole thing where you don't just want the government to have arms, in case they get too oppressive, that the people can fight back. What about modern technology and how far ahead they are with the weaponry that they have versus what you as a citizen can purchase at a gun store or Walmart or whatever? I mean, what they have access what they have. The fact that now, some nerd from the math team can be fucking John Rambo with a drone 5 states away. Like, how does one combat something like that? Which, once again, I actually think that the government having that level of weaponry versus the citizens is the least of our problems. I would say that it's that we're divided because of these 24-hour fucking news networks. Because the bottom line is if everybody just said, well, fuck it then. All right, well, we just won't go to work and we're going to stop paying taxes. And then none of you motherfuckers get to eat. Now what are you going to do? Hey, Richies, dig your own ditches. You can have like all these non-violent, The problem is they get to use the military on their own people and they have to follow orders. I have more stripes on my shirt and I told you to point that gun at your own fucking people. Oh, this is getting deep. All right, is it getting deep? The topic's getting deep. I don't know that what was said was that deep. All right. So I did watch a couple of movies. I watched Dublin, which was not Dublin. Oh, my God. I keep calling it Dublin. Oh, my God. They're going to kill me in Ireland. I was watching Belfast. I don't know why I kept calling it Dublin. Probably because 90% of my tours over there, I always go to Dublin, and I only went to Belfast once. And I got to play that amazing theater where Led Zeppelin played Ursula Hall, where the first place they played Stairway to Heaven live. Anyway, and I remember being in Belfast, and I remember the guy that was the security guy, who was running Ursula Hall, and I remember like meeting that guy. I was like, hey man, how you doing? And just his whole fucking vibe, you could just feel, okay, this guy, it was just a different vibe up there. We're like, all right, this is not the place to make some wise ass remark that might be misunderstood. But anyway, I saw that movie Belfast, my apologies, and I really enjoyed that. It was not what I thought it was going to be by any stretch of the means. It was actually a really cool thing where it was sort of about just the human relationships there between, husband and wives, like how it affected them, and the decisions people had to make, and just pulling families apart and everything. It was really a really, really interesting movie. So I enjoyed that one. And then I watched that Clint Eastwood movie, Cry Macho. And that movie I loved. I mean, anytime Clint's going to play a cowboy and get on the horse again, and he was driving an old Chevy Suburban, I really enjoyed that one too. And other than that, what did I do? I watched this whole thing that was in French about Air France in the movies. And it was just this wonderful series. And they had a thing where they were talking about the Concorde, the supersonic fucking jet. You could fly from New York City to France in like 3 hours and 40 minutes. This was in the late 70s you could do this. How we went back, and they had one fucking crash, and they douched the whole goddamn thing. How many of the fucking 747s have crashed? I don't see them fucking douching that thing. It must have just been too prohibitively expensive. But I did see something recently that they were going to be bringing supersonic flight back. If they could just somehow make those things electric, now that China bought up all the lithium deposits around the fucking world, we could find a new way to pollute the skies. There needs to be less people. That's what needs to happen. That's the solution. And that is not what I am hearing from Democrats or Republicans. Go forth and multiply. Keep the country white. That's one of the theories about that, that whole abortion thing, that it's really not religious based. I mean, they're using the media to stir people up. I'm not saying that people aren't against it for religious reasons, but I feel like they're against it for religious reasons because they were told that God doesn't like it, not because God said that. Who, by the way, has been surprisingly quiet since that book. Issuing statements right and left like George Steinbrenner when the Yankees were sub 500, and then just not a peep. Not a fucking word from the guy. But evidently, he weighed in on abortion a long fucking time ago and said he didn't fucking like it. I heard, and there's another theory. I'm not saying that this is true. Okay? I'm not trying to be the guy that doesn't have answers, that sits here and acts like he has answers because there's nobody here to debate with me. But I actually read this theory that it was racially based because 60% of abortions were done by white people, that they wanted those white babies. They needed those white babies so that people who weren't white wouldn't outfuck us. I don't know. Everything sounds fucking nuts to me. By the way, my buddy, comedian BT, was telling me that this F1 race might have been one of the best ones ever. I got to see it. I briefly saw a highlight before I shut it off. Lewis Hamilton was in the hunt, which is fucking awesome. As much as I like to tease that guy and everything, it sucks when his car isn't good. And I actually met an F1 huge fan who was going to that race at the wedding, and he was saying that I was going, it's weird how his teammate has a better car. And he said, no, he's the more experienced driver. So he's going to be able to guide them easier on what the car needs. And you knew it was going to happen, that they're getting their shit together, and it's just going to be it's just going to be unbelievable racing for the rest of the year. That's what I'm hoping. So anyway, I have to watch that. My DVR recorded it.